You ever notice in churches, women fellowship much better than men do? Like the only way you can get a bunch of guys together is if you're serving food. Okay? You got bacon and eggs, you got 400 guys show up, 387 of them don't even go to your church. That's what I notice. I'm just observing, I'm not criticizing. But women, they know how to get together and fellowship. They'll get together and they'll pray and they'll worship. They'll have a church service. They don't even need Sunday morning. Once they all get together on a Tuesday afternoon, that's good enough. They'll have a whole thing going. And guys are like, oh well, I don't know. Bible study? I don't know if I want to go or not. I'm not trying to be rough on us, guys. I mean, I'm one of yous. And most of these things I can say, hey, I've probably walked through them myself. I got the same mud on my shoes that y'all do, so we're good. What else do men need help with? Just about everything, huh? Pretty much, yeah. Maybe we could shorten it by saying, what do they not need help with? That would be a short sermon, like 2 minutes, we'd be done, and you'd be on your way to the restaurant. So, that we need help with our families. God admonishes every husband, love your wife. Now, that seems like a strange thing to say to a man, a husband, love your wife. Because most men would say, well, if I didn't love her, I wouldn't have married her. Well, wait a minute. Love is more than just affection. Love means more than just emotional feelings like, ooh, a cloud of little angels and harps, and I love you. That's not everything love is. It's part of love, but it's not everything. It means that you and I are going to seek the welfare and the happiness of the person that we love and lead them accordingly. Loving a person means wanting the best for them, whether there's benefit for you in it or not. Doesn't matter if I get happy, it doesn't matter if I feel great. It matters that the person I love is taken care of. Another couple had been married about 40 years, and the man was a good husband. He always provided, and he taught his children well, and he never had a problem with anything as far as, being disloyal, or he was a good husband. Except the wife had one little problem with him. And she says, darling, he says, I have to tell you, in all these years we've been married, you're a good husband, and I really appreciate you, except for one thing. And he says, what's that? He goes, you never tell me that you love me. And he looked at her and he goes, dear, on the day we got married, in front of the whole church, I told you that I loved you. And if anything changes, I'll let you know. That's how men think. We think we don't need to do anything. Hey, I've covered that base, that subject. It's done. Guys. And I think, again, this is commentary, if you will. That's one of the biggest problems we have in this nation today. Men have stepped aside from their responsibility, God given responsibility, to be men who lead their families. Ephesians 5:23. The husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, and he is the savior of the body. Now, some guys read that and go, that's right, I'm in charge. Hey, it's not a right or a privilege, it's a responsibility. That's different. That means you're responsible to do something. Headship is not being the big boss. Anyone who's worked for anyone else knows that the best managers are the ones who get down in the trenches and work with you and help you learn and help you grow and help you get better. That's a boss. Just like Jesus had to come down here and help us get better, didn't he? God is no respecter of persons. Women are equal in his sight. So he doesn't think because I put you at the top that this one is not as important. The Bible calls women the weaker vessel, but that's not an insult. It's actually a compliment. She's not less valuable. Rather, women are more fragile, and they need strong and they need loving leadership. Here's a comparison for you. Women are like silk, and men are like corduroy. Now, which one's more fragile? Silk. Which one's more valuable? Silk. Now, corduroy makes a good material to work in, but you can't go work in silk and ruin it because you've overused it, you've broken it down, you've abused it. Silk isn't made to do that. Silk has its place, corduroy has its place. That's how men need to look at their wives and women in general. They're to be treated with respect and dignity and realize that they are fragile. God's wisdom, He's given each family a head. Why just one? Because anything that has two heads is a monster. You ever seen on YouTube like a two-headed snake or something? That's weird. And I'm not a squeamish person. I've seen things you don't want to know. But I see some things like that. I'm like, oh my Lord, that's weird. But creatures, including us, families, are meant to have one head, aren't they? That's how they were designed. And man, the hardest thing you'll ever do is to be a good father and a good husband. You might climb Mount Everest. You might be on the first trip to Mars. You might accomplish something no other man has ever accomplished. But the hardest thing you'll do is be a husband and a father. That'll put you to the test. And it's not a privilege, like I said, it's a responsibility. In the Bible, there's a couple examples of men like this who were very successful outside the family, but not inside.